Hello friends, and welcome to my garden. Today is the end of September, September 29th, and we are going to walk through what is left of the garden, probably pointing out what maintenance needs to be done, but really highlighting the things that are still blooming and looking great at the end of September. As a reminder, I'm Mary from Horse and Garden, and I garden in Zone 6B, Western New York. Today we are starting in the front flower bed right up against the house, and the Super Bells is still doing really well. I mean, the leaves are, or the buds, I'm sorry, the buds are just a little tattered. We did have a lot of rain. This has been getting some sun. It's definitely not in full sun any longer, but it is looking pretty nice for this time of year for Super Bells. The Limelight hydrangea is putting on its fall color amazingly. And I actually didn't have a very long period where any of the blooms were that chartreuse green. They really went from green to starting to pink. We have had some cool evenings for quite a while. So I've enjoyed the pinkish hues on this Limelight for a very long time, and I think it looks great. I planted this last July, so I think it's doing really well for a standard that was planted last July. And I have a wild aster growing, which, you know, looks kind of cute there. All right, the coleus down below is not looking its best, but the temperatures have been dipping down into the 40s, and I think the coleus is not enjoying it. We've got foxglove. Again, I planted the Simicifuga, let me zoom in early July, and it has put on some growth. I anticipate next year, hopefully it put on a lot of root growth this year, so next year it'll come back really well in the spring. The Astilbe has done really well. Again, I made sure I watered it well this year, and I did divide some of it, so it may have been happier this year being divided and having a little more room, a little more elbow room. The Lamium is doing well. My heucheras did very well this year. Even the ones I just planted. My Jacob's Ladder did do well in the spring. I anticipate it will do just as well in the spring. I'm excited to see that return. And this whole section I kind of transplanted, so everything was shuffled around. The fern, the mouse ear hosta, just labeled blue plantain hosta, the heuchera, that Jacob's Ladder, all moved around, and so I think it's looking pretty good for a spring of being shuffled and moved. Osteospermum was a generic variety and has done okay. You know, not fabulously, but okay. It continues to flower. My oak leaf hydrangea has done well in its container this year, and we've had more rain recently, so I haven't had to worry about coming out and watering, but it has done really well. It did flower. For the first year, I think it was quite impressive. There are some begonias planted underneath, and those are finally putting on some growth. I think the squirrels stopped digging in there, so they're doing really well. My little ghosty guy is all twisted. Let's see if I can get them twisted back around here. There. Better. Again, containers have fallen over, and you know, the containers are getting to the end of their life. These were my summer containers, and I think they're still looking pretty good in the fall porch arrangement. The mums in the pots are looking good. Again, we've gotten rain. It has been cool, so I think they're hanging in there. The hollyhock is doing well. It's really a very pretty hollyhock. The annuals on this edge have done extremely well. The red Zahara zinnia, Dusty Miller, the coleus, and the Supertunia mini drift. Let's try that again. Supertunia mini vista snowdrift have done really well, as well as the cosmos that were planted. Sorry, sun. The red mum and the switchgrass are doing very, very well. Let me turn. And the asters. Honestly, this view is perfect fall colors to me. I've got the red, the purple from the asters, yellow from the sunflowers, the gaillardia is still going for it. I still have celosia blooming, or celosia. I still have a few roses that are blooming. But honestly, right here are the perfect fall colors. My little dahlia peeking through, still looking good. Snapdragon still going for it. That is the Oh So Easy Petite Pink Rose, and it definitely put on some new growth. I'm going to have to trim it back here shortly. It just has a few wild arms, so those are, I just want to cut those back a little bit. And then I did want to show you, whoops, let's try that again. The black mondo grass has done well, and I think I have a couple of new shoots coming up, so that is kind of exciting. Let's take a look at the lavender. So I do have some flowers on the lavender. Some did better than others. So I will need to get some new lavender plants for the spring. It is a little sunny this morning, so I'm trying to get the best angles here. And the blue Atlas cedars have done well on either end. I do have some spiders assisting me with Halloween decorations, but so I repeated on this side the red Zahara zinnias and the Dusty Miller, and there were also cosmos in here that didn't quite make it. That's okay. I think this side just doesn't get as much sun. It gets morning sun, but not that afternoon sun that these warm season tender annuals really want. My alyssum has done very well. This was a winter sown plant, and it just did extremely well. And the heuchera on this side have done well. I think they're going to be kind of a staple on the side as it, as they fill in. All right, getting out of the sun a little bit. So this side of the garden is the cool season hardy annual seedling section. I've planted snapdragons, rudbeckia, nigella, bupleurum, and calendula. And for seeds, I planted more bupleurum, larkspur, and bachelor buttons. And I do have seedlings coming up. Let me show you those. So tiny little seedlings coming up. I still have the snapdragons going for it. As you can see, more of the Oh So Easy Petite Pink Rose more snapdragons. The guara is doing really well. That has just kept flowering. It's really very lovely. Pomegranate punch, super bells, and I recently moved it to this spot hoping it would get more sun because I think it's lagging the others because it wasn't getting as much sun, but it's still green and looks lovely, just not as many blooms. And the aster is leaning, and I may leave it right where it is, but just trim it in the spring so that it doesn't, so it gets a little bushier and doesn't lean like that. So I will make a note to do that. I have to put a reminder. And this is, I am not 100% sure what variety this is. I got this seed in a seed exchange and all it said was red salvia. I do love it. Love it. I wasn't sure that I would, but I just absolutely love that red color. And it bloomed later in the season than the other salvias. This one got a little taller. Again, let me back up. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today's garden tour. Really kind of a, let's call it a walkthrough of the garden today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Have a great day.